class, and I pray for our sister Ethel here. Lord, whatever the direction you have in her life, whatever you want her to do, the purpose that you want her to fulfill, the meaning that you want to give her life, oh God, reveal it through the Holy Spirit, oh God. I pray for every other student in the class and prayer request that has not been put forth, the prayer request people have in their hearts. And Lord, you know it, oh God, without us telling you. I pray for every one of those, oh God. I pray for our teachers. I pray for our Professor Pastor Junkin. Wherever he is, whatever he is doing, Lord, help him, be with him, and guide him, bring him back safely. Help us to learn for thy glory, O God, not unto us, O Master. I completely surrender the whole day. Help us to learn all that you have for us to learn for today's class, O God. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, bro.
Amen. Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I should mute myself.
Yeah.
Need to hear me blow my nose.
Okay, so we are on lesson 27.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
actually, a while back, I had a problem with entering the class using my computer. Would you please accept my computer now? I'll try to enter again, and then I will close this cell phone, this one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, thank you, ma'am.
We are on lesson 27.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see?
No?
Now?
Yes.
Okay. We are on lesson number 27.
Okay.
Yeah, so today I'll ask for a volunteer to read the sentence.
I'll read
it.
I will read.
Who? Okay.
Okay, I go.
Yes, read.
Yes.
Okay. Velo shavu el Adonai Elohim. Elohim.
Elohim. Okay, yeah, correct, good. That's very good. So you help us to also check what is our verb in this sentence.
That one, shavu.
Shavu. Okay, so we are going to pass it.
Shin.
Shin.
Shin. Hello.
Shin and then?
Hello.
Huh? I just had shin. After shin is?
Shin will be, another one is the U.
U.
And
right.
it. That one is gonna be a missing letter, right?
Yeah. So what is the third? What is the third one?
And bit.
What?
Bit.
Okay.
Bit.
Okay. What is the stem?
Stem is called.
Form.
Form. That would be affix.
Affix.
That one participle as well, or no?
Huh?
That one participle as well?
Participle. Not participle.
Because the whole limb there.
Oh yeah. Not participle. Anyway, it is affix. Then PGN.
3MPL.
3MPL. And then special feature.
Low.
And
The meaning will be.
There's another special feature.
Oh. That's the only one I know so far.
Look at it. Look at it properly.
Velo.
What? Somebody said something. We have a special feature.
Conjunction.
Verb conjunction.
Verb conjunction.
Oh.
You see, we have the law and then the verb negative particle. Actually, negative particle.
Okay.
Law, and then we have verb conjunction. Okay.
The meaning will be and not.
No.
Turn back.
Okay, and not turn back. And not turn back and not return. Okay?
Yes.
So I want us to look at this is, huh?
I thought it was 3MPL. So why is it just and not turn back instead of
and they sorry, and they
not turn back.
Sorry, yeah.
You're sorry,
right.
and they did not turn back.
I think for affix 3CPL.
Yeah, I think so too. It's not
I
3MPL.
am also getting mixed up now. 3CPL.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thank you, Ikana. And they did not.
They did. Thank you.
Turn back. Thank you. Now I want us to look at. I want us to focus on our verb today. This one. Shavu. Shavu is an ambiguous. Actually, shavu is an ambiguous. What we call an ambiguous verb. Because it can have a double meaning. What we see now there can actually have a double meaning. It can be either the 3CPL for shava, which means to take captive or to be taken into captivity, or it can be the 3CPL of shu. So you have to be careful with this with shavu because it has an ambiguous meaning and can have those two meanings. So when you come across this word, you need to look at the context surrounding the verb so that you know which one it is. Because if it is shaba, the meaning will be different. So let's just finish first of all translating this. And so we said, and they. Can somebody translate the sentence for us?
And they did not return to the Lord their God.
And they did not return to the Lord their God. Now, if it was Shava, it would mean, and they did not take to the Lord their God into captivity. You see. So when you have a word that has, when you have a word that looks ambiguous and you're not sure, you need to just translate it and see that it makes sense within the sentence. Then you know, of course, that if it can't be that you took God into captivity. I mean, there's no way we can take God into captivity. So you know that it cannot be, the root cannot be shava, but shu. So you have to be very careful with this because you have two options. It can either be shavu, which is derives from shu, or shavu, which comes from shaba, which means to take into captivity. Okay. So let's look at the holo verbs. Today we look at holo verbs. We'll be looking at the holo verbs in the affix, in the prefix, in the imperative form, participle form, and in the infinitive form. So let's first look at the Carl affix, holo verb. One of the things we see with the holo verbs is that we usually have just two consonants. in the affix form. When the hollow verb is in the affix form, it will usually have just two root consonants, okay? And two root consonants, and then the affix pronouns coming after it. So that is the first thing you need to take note. For example, we see sharp, we have come, we have bar when it comes to bow. So we only have two root letters. And the vowel under the affix, under the first root letter in the third person will always be the kamet. Okay? That is your first indicator. In the Carl affix hollow, in the third person, it will always be a kamet. Okay? So you see kamet in shav, you see kamet in shavu, you see the kamet in shava. Okay? But when it comes to the first and second person, we have pata under the first root letter. So if you look at all the second person and the first person, you will see that under the first root letter, we have pata. This is the key to remember with the Carl affix for hollow verb. The first thing is that there usually be two root consonants. Then the second thing is that under the first root letter for the third person, we have the kamet. For the first and the second person, we usually have the pata. Okay? Now, in the weak forms, all hollow verbs are considered to be weak verbs, but within those weak verbs, we have strong verbs, and now we have a strong verb and we have weak verbs. For example, come is considered within the weak verbs, within the hollow verbs to be strong. Shim is strong, but bo is considered to be a weak verb because bo has bo has a guttural at the end. So this is what makes it a weak hollow verb. Okay. So when we have a weak in the weak forms like bo, under the first root letter and for all the forms, we will only have the kamet. Okay. All the bo forms, whether it's third person, second person, or first person, will have the kamet under the first root letter. So the things to remember with the Carl affix hollow verb is that in the third person, for the strong weak verbs like sham, like shim, like kum, they will have kamet under the first root letter for the third person. In the first person and the second person, we will have pata under the first root letter. For the weak hollow verbs like bo, all of them will just be kamet. Okay? Are we together up to there? The other thing to note, even with the hollow verbs in the affix form, is the third person. The third person feminine singular, this one. This ending again is the same as the third person masculine singular for the verb shaba, shava or shaba, which is which looks exactly like this third person feminine singular for shim, for shoe. So when you see this, you have two possibilities. It could either be third masculine singular for shaba, or it could be third feminine singular for shoe. So when you see it, you have to think through it and see, okay, is this shoe or is this shaba? And look at the context again. That will be able to help you to know which is which. Okay. And also another thing I just saw as I was grading your translation assignment, it is important for you to know what is the subject of your verb. Okay. Like for example, we have like 3MS. When you look at the sentence, you need to see, is there an agreement between the subject and the verb? You see, like if you have, he said, you know, and then we have a noun like Abraham, automatically it's coming right after the verb. Automatically, it seems to be that Abraham, as a masculine singular, is the subject of the verb. So let's be remembering that even as we do the translation. So is there any question about the Carl affix holo verb? Okay, let's move on there. So here we see that we have the strong, how we see the strong verbs, I mean side by side with the holo verb, so that we can be able to see how it works. The affix pronoun is just the same. You know, we have nothing in the 3ms. We have a, ta, te, ti, u, tem, nu, which is just the same as as the strong verb. The only difference now comes again, as I said, with the two, when you have two root consonants, and that's why we call them biconsonantal roots, because we only have two root letters, okay? But in the strong verb, we do have, they are triconsonantal, which means that we have 3 root letters. So that's the main difference. But otherwise, and also in terms of the vowel pointing, we see in the strong verb that we have pata pata right under, kamets kamets under the first root letter, except for the 2 MPL and the 2 FPL, where we have the shewa. That is where we only have, that's where we have the difference in terms of the vowel pointings under the first root letter. As we said, again, I just want to repeat this so that we can see the difference. With the holo verbs, we have in the third person, kamet under the first root letter. In the first and second person, we have pata. In the strong verbs, we have kamet in all the first root letters, with the exception of second person masculine plural and second person feminine plural. So that's the difference between strong verbs and the holo verbs. Okay. Okay, we've already translated that one. So our final translation, just like we saw, was, and they did not turn back or return to the Lord their God. And then the Nasu version says, yet they have not returned to the Lord their God. It just gives a different translation. I want us to look also at to be reminded that we need to memorize our pronominal suffixes. We need to remember our pronominal suffixes, because we will be doing a quiz on it in the coming day, in the next few couple, maybe next week or maybe the other week. We will be doing our quiz on pronominal suffixes. So I just want to remind you to keep memorizing them and remembering them, knowing the type 1 and type 2 pronominal suffixes that we have, and how we use them, whether objectively or possessively. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the prefix. Okay, the biconsonantal verbs. I'll ask Romero, can you read for us?
With the prefix and related conjugations, the medial vowel letter is found in every form. And in the prefix, the biconsonantal or second, the yod or the verbs are further classified by their medial vowel letter.
Do we know what the medial vowel letter is? Okay, the medial vowel letter is this. Like for like for kum is the shrek, for bo is the holem plane, and then is for the shim is the hirek plane or hirek yud. So that's the medial. So with the prefix and related conjugation, we see the medial vowel appearing, the medial vowel letter appearing, which we do not see in the affix form of the hollow verbs. You see, in the hollow verbs we only have the two consonants, and we don't have the medial vowel. But for the cal prefix and the other forms of the hollow verbs, we do have the medial vowel letter appearing, such that we see we have now the kum, bo, and the shim appearing. This appears in all the other forms, except for the cal affix. So we see in the cal affix, we only have the two consonants appearing without the vowel letter. Okay, now with the lexical, this is the lexical entry. When you look into the dictionary to try and find the word kum, you will not find it in this form, in the cal affix 3ms. For most Hebrew verbs, the lexical form of that Hebrew verb is usually cal affix 3ms. Cal affix 3ms. But for the whole of verbs, its lexical entry is actually the infinitive construct form of the verb. So when you're looking for it in the Hebrew dictionary or the Hebrew lexicon, you will not find kam. You need to look for it as kum. For the other Hebrew verbs, usually when you're looking for the word in the dictionary, you look for it from using the cal affix 3ms form of the word. Okay. So this is how it appears side by side. Now we can see the difference between the cal prefix, the way it appears, and the cal affix and the cal prefix, how they appear. Now they have been put in different classes based on their medial vowel letter. So we have the U class, we have the O class, and we have the E class, which is so kum falls under that, bo under the O class, and shim under the E class. So now we want to look at the actual conjugations of these verbs. If you look, oh, sorry. Just 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so I want us to look at the at the conjugations of the different, verbs, of the different hollow verbs that we have. This is the U class, E class, and then the O class, and then we have the strong verb here. Now, I want you to look under the prefix pronouns. You see, under the prefix pronoun, you will see that we have kamets under every one of them, with the exception of third person feminine plural and second person feminine plural. Okay, so we have kamets under the first under the prefix pronoun. And you remember when we talk about the missing rule letter, that's what we normally look out for. If there's a kamets under the prefix pronoun, then we know that probably that the missing letter must be for a hollow verb. So it could be U, it could be E, and it could be O. Okay? So for all these, for all of them, it is the same. We do have the kamets coming under the prefix pronoun for all the classes. Now, if we look at the strong verbs, we see that it is different. In the strong verbs, we have the hirek, except for the first person common singular, where we have the segol, and then, yeah, all of them have except for the first person common singular. So it is different from the hollow verbs. So when you're looking at them, when we look at when we compare the two, we can see that the vowel pointing is different, but the conjugation is just the same. Unless is there a question before I go any further?
Professor, I am confused with the one you mentioned. You mean if the prefix pronoun under the prefix pronoun is kamets, the missing letter is halum verb, like vav.
Yeah, usually when we have especially when we have with the verb conversive, and when you have with the verb conversive, sometimes we only have 2 root letters. Okay, so when we have kamets under the prefix pronoun, we know that that is the indicator for the missing middle letter. Is that making sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, Professor.
Okay.
If you can go back to the chart, you said okay, so you said something about the pronominal form, right? So when I'm looking at 3FP for Yasham.
So you're looking at
3MP.
Mm-hmm.
And the second column, Yasham, Yasim,
Yasimu.
Yasimu. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yasimu. So that's a pronominal suffix, right?
No, that's not a pronominal suffix.
No, the one above it is.
Which one? This?
1CS.
No, this is part of the root letter.
Oh, okay.
For sim. And this is at the affix pronoun for third. Actually, this thing is. Yeah, this is the affix for 3MP.
Oh, never mind. I think I was talking about the one before, like when you mentioned pronominal suffixes.
Oh, no,
yeah.
Oh, no, that was in the previous sentence.
Yeah, because I was just mixed up. Never mind. I just will go back to it myself later.
Okay.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay, so like I said, in all forms except for third person feminine plural and second person feminine plural, and in every class, the vowel under the prefix pronoun will be kamets. Okay, so that is what we normally see. I want to ask, Stephen, can you read for us?
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
For O class, 3 FPL and 2 FPL.
Wait. I go to the chart.
Chart.
I got confused because it's kamets for O class. Because for U class and E class, it's
okay. Which one are we looking at?
Bo. 3 FPL and 2 FPL, but it's under. You get my point? Because it's kamets.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Because kamet, because for bo is a weak, is considered, okay, we have hollow verbs. Hollow verbs generally are considered to be weak verbs. Let's start with that one first. But under the hollow verbs, we have some hollow verbs that are stronger than others. We have like kum and shim, kum and sim are stronger than bo, because bo is considered to be weak because it has the agatral letter at the end. So when it comes to bo, when it comes to bo in the affix, all the vowels under the first root letter will be kamets. When it comes to the prefix form of bo, the vowel under the prefix pronoun will be kamet also.
Oh.
Yeah. So in all the forms, it doesn't change. But for the other ones, like for kum and for stim, it will be kamet under the first root under the prefix pronoun, except for third person feminine plural and second person feminine plural. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
It becomes seri and hirek.
Just for clarification.
Yes.
In a prefix, hollow verb is not the middle what is that? Middle consonant will not disappear, but when it comes to vowel conversely, it will disappear, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you have the verb, sometimes when you have the verb, it sometimes will disappear. And so when you have it with the verb conversive, and then you have the kamet under the prefix pronoun, so that becomes your indicator that this probably is a hollow verb.
But for vowel conversely, sometimes it disappears all the time.
Most of the time I see that it is not there. Let me just go, let's go to the chart, page 440 of your textbook if you have it.
Of the book?
Yeah, textbook.
440.
Yeah. Verb, in the verb chart, right at the bottom of your verb chart.
Yeah.
When there is a verb conversive, normally most of the time the medial vowel will not be there.
Oh.
Yeah. With the verb conversive.
Only with that?
Now, this is if we are talking about the prefix form.
Yeah, that's okay. It's different. Yeah. This is all affix here, I think.
Steven, does that answer your question?
Okay. I just get confused because the kamets is not always kamets. Like for kum, I see a sere under the prefix. And still there's still the hollow, it's still a hollow verb, but it's a sere under the prefix.
Where are you seeing a sere under the prefix pronoun?
2FP, under the tav, 2FP.
That is not a sere, that is a shewa.
Oh,
under the prefix pronoun.
My eyes are going back like this. Sorry, my orientation was mixed up. I should go like this.
Okay.
I mixed up myself. Never mind. I get it now.
Okay. James, you have a question?
Yes, in the textbook, page 440, it's all comments there.
Where?
Hollow verb chart 440.
Okay, what is all comment?
What verb? Oh, there it
for
is.
The prefix?
For the prefix.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Excuse me. Yeah, they are.
Oh, because in the practical, according to practical, I think it is kamet. Sorry, it is 3FP and 2FP is different. That's interesting. I need to check that out.
3FP and 3MP?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Because the
That's
2FP
different.
is
You're right.
yeah, because the 2FP, wait, let me just check.
What happened? I just got even more confused.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'll check it out and get back to you. Because according to practical, our other textbook, it is different.
Thanks, James. You had to bring
Yeah, that's
that
a good thing. Let me just
He's
make
so
a note
kind.
of that and check
You're
and
gonna
check on
tutor
it.
me after this class, James.
Yeah.
He's too smart for me.
Okay, I'll check that out and get back to you. Okay. Any other question?
I'm afraid to ask any more questions.
Why?
Because I have to absorb what I just heard first.
Okay, so when we talk about the same vowel of every form, okay, maybe let me get somebody to read that. Amos, can you read for us?
Yes, biconsonantal notes. In all forms except 3FP and 2FP, and in every class, the preformative vowel is comets. The stem vowel of every form is determined by the biconsonantal subclass. Shurek.
Sorry, where are you reading?
Correct.
Oh, excuse me. Like perhaps I skipped this part. The Hebrew word part.
Oh, okay, okay. Just read from the stem vowel.
Okay, so
That's
where should
here.
I start now?
Yeah. Okay, just start from the beginning.
Okay, in all forms except 3FP and 2FP, and in every class, the preformative vowel is comets, like Yakum, Yasim, and Yabo.
Okay.
Okay, the stem vowel of every form is determined by the biconsonantal subclass Shurik, Yakum, Hirik Yod, Yasim, or Holem valve, Yabo. It should be noted, yes?
Okay, just continue.
Okay, it should be noted that some mixing of the diagnostic stem vowel does occur. For example, Yasim is sometimes rendered Yasum. Sometimes the unchangeable long stem vowel may be written defectively. For example, Yakum may appear as Yakam.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So the stem vowel is usually what is, it's the vowel that is usually associated with the second consonant in the vowel root. The second consonant in the vowel root. So this because we don't, so for here we have the shrek, as you've heard, we have the hirek yod, or the hirek plane, and then the holem verb or the holem plane. It's good for us to know both words because some textbooks use hirek yod, some textbooks use holem verb. So this is just hirek plane and this is holem plane. So the same vowel is actually, this is the vowel that's associated with the second consonant of the vowel root. The second consonant of the vowel root.
The second.
Yeah.
The second, not
Yeah,
the vowel.
the vowel that is associated. For example, we see here, this is the strong verb. This is the strong verb yiketol. Yiketol. So this is he killed. Yiketol. When you look at Chiketol, you will see that on the second root letter, we have the holem.
Holem.
Yeah. So
Holem
this
detective.
holem. So with the holem, this becomes the second. This becomes the vowel, the stem vowel, which is in the second root letter, and then we have the shewa for strong vowel. But for holover, sorry, excuse me. But for holover, we have the Wait, let me just go back. So for hollow verbs, like for kum, we have the shrek. For yashim, we have the hirek plane or hirek yod. For the bo, we have the holem plane or the holem verb. So these are the stem vowels for the hollow verbs. Are we together there? Are you understanding that, what that is?
Wait, I gotta read. When they say preformative, are they talking about the lexicon?
No, they're talking
Lexical?
about the vowel under the prefix pronoun.
Okay. I don't really know what biconsonantal notes. It's just showing me how
Like-
one is different from the other, but I don't know why they are.
Biconsonantal means the verbs that have only two consonants.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are notes about biconsonantal verbs. Like we are looking at the kam, the sham, sam, and ba, the both. Okay.
Bo.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it should be noted that there's always sometimes some mixing of the diagnostic stem vowel occurs. You know, we've said that the stem vowel for these can be shrek, can be hirekiod or hirek plane, and then it can be holem plane. But there are exceptions to the rule. And so sometimes you will find that it's not just the sim, the hirekiod or hirek plane, but it is written more as a shrek instead of this. So sometimes there's variations to that, to the stem vowels. But it's no, even though it's more like an exception than the rule, but it's just good to be aware of it. And then again, sometimes the unchangeable long stem vowel, may be written defectively. For example, the yakum, where with the yakum, we see the shrek here, but now we see kibbutz under the root letter. Okay, so those are some of the changes that can be there. But you see, even with this, when you read it, you still read it as yakum, and these two, you read it as yakum. So that could be an indicator and can give you an idea that this probably could still be the verb kum. Okay. Are we okay? Is there any question up to there?
We're just talking about hollow verbs so far, eh?
Yeah, this is all hollow verbs.
Just all about hollow verbs, okay.
Hollow verbs in different forms.
Yeah, different forms. Yeah.
Okay. So do you understand now about the prefix and the affix forms of the hollow verbs?
I have to review later, but I think I do.
Okay.
They're just different. That's it.
Okay, let's now look at the imperative form of biconsonantal verb. Sorry. You know, just like every other, you've already done dealt with the imperatives. And so with imperatives, one of the things you see is that it normally derived from just removing the prefix pronoun.
That's it?
Yeah, normally that's how you get it from from the second person of the verb. So you move that and you have kum, kumi, kumu, and then kumana.
Kumana.
So that is just how you be that, because it's the same way you derive it from though you derive any other imperative, it's the same way you do it for the whole of verbs. We've already done imperatives, I believe, yeah? We've already done imperatives. So it's just the same way that the same way you would get an imperative from the other strong verbs is the same way you would derive the imperative from for the whole of verbs or by consonantal verbs. Okay, I think that is self-explanatory.
Yeah, it is. It's
I think
easy
that,
to understand.
yeah, I think that one is easy to be able to, it's easy to remember and to know. So you just need to know, actually once you know, if, and that's the thing, if you memorize your prefix form, if you memorize your prefix form properly, then you just know that the second person is, when I remove the prefix pronoun from the second person, I am able to get my imperative form
Already.
of the particular verb. Okay, so you just have e, u, na as your ending. You have nothing for the two ms, and then you have e, u, na for the next two. Okay, so that's how to remember e, u, na. Nothing, e, u, na. Actually, this is for, excuse me, for most verbs, it will be e, u, na. That will be easy to remember. Just nothing, and then e, u, na. Maybe you should just say it, nothing, e, u, na.
Nothing. Una.
No, I want to hear everybody
Nothing.
saying it.
Hey, that's Tagalog. That's
Nothing,
Tagalog.
e,
Nothing
u,
iuna.
na. Nothing, e, u, na. Yeah.
Nothing. Iuna.
E, u, na.
That's my language, Tagalog. Una mo siya.
So let's look at the infinitives also. Oh, sorry.
Professor, there's I just want to ask the previous table in
This one?
the FP, yeah, the red mark. That is Kumana. Yeah. Why is that there is a holem on the first letter? Is that a
No, that must be,
indicator for?
no, that is a mistake, I think. Because it should not be having a holem at the beginning. No, that is not a holem, that is an accent.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry. Okay.
Shouldn't there be a shua under the first root letter?
Wait, let me go back to it. For which one?
Well, all of them. Oh no, sorry, 2ms.
Under the first root letter? For the imperative?
Yes.
No, it doesn't have. It doesn't have.
Okay.
All right. Any other question? Okay, we can move on. So the infinitive form, the infinitive forms of the whole of verbs are actually similar to the 2ms of, are actually similar to the 2ms of the imperative, sorry, the infinitive forms are identical to the imperative 2ms verbal form. So you find that the imperative, the infinitive form of both will just be both with the holem and the aleph like that. So as it says, context should be able to enable you to distinguish between the two of them, to be able to know which is imperative, what is imperative, and what is the infinitive construct form of the verb. Okay, so sometimes you cannot tell until you have the full sentence. If it's just the word by itself, if you just see bo by itself, you cannot tell whether it is imperative or infinitive construct or the infinitive form, because we also have infinitive absolute. So the only way you can be able to know the difference is when you read the full sentence. And sometimes maybe not even the full sentence, but sometimes the whole, like a few sentences within the passage to be able to determine whether it is the imperative form of the verb or the infinitive form of the verb. Okay, I think that one kind of makes it's easy to understand, I think. Or is there anybody who has a question with that? With the imperative forms and the infinitive forms of whole of verbs? You're good. Okay. Okay, we now finally want to look at the participle form of these biconsonantal roots. One of the things that's a challenge with this one, also we saw when we were doing the participle, is that they look almost the same, you know, as the affix form. But let's begin with this first. So this weak class is the only one without a diagnostic holem vowel, because we usually have holem as an indicator for the participle form. But for these biconsonantal roots, we do not have that. So most of the time it will just be, like this, just the kamets and then kama, kamim, kamot. We do not have any holem, which is an indicator for the holem, for the participle form of the verb. So you just need to be able to understand, and if possible, even just memorize or just be able to recognize that when you see a biconsonantal root and it is like this, probably it could be 3ms, it could be cal affix 3ms, or it could be the masculine singular participle of come. Okay, so we need to be able to know that difference. And likewise, the feminine singular participle kama is identical to the cal affix feminine singular. So again, context will be able to enable us to make the correct choice. But even besides the context, you remember that when we are doing the participle, there's 3 ways you can be able to identify an ambiguous a whole of verb, whether to find out whether it is a participle or whether it is in the participle form or it is in the affix form. The thing is, if the first thing to look at is that, is there another participle within that sentence? If you have another participle within that same sentence, chances are very high, and it is probably that the ambiguous form of the verb is a participle. I just want to repeat that again. If you have a sentence and you're not sure whether the bar you're seeing or come or some is affix or whether it is participle, you need to check and see, is there another participle within the sentence? If there is another participle within the sentence, then the ambiguous form, the one that seems to have like 2 meanings, would probably be the participle form. And if it is, the second thing is that if it is combined with an IPP, and that's why you need to know the IPP, the independent personal pronouns, very well. If it is connected, it is combined with an IPP, chances are that it is a participle. Or even if we have it, it is attached to hine. You remember hine? If it is attached to hine, it is probably a participle. Okay? And then if it is attached to, the third thing to know is that if it is attached to a definite article, if it is attached to a definite article, it is a participle because verbs are not attached to the definite article. So those are the 3 ways. If you have an ambiguous verb like come and bar, and they both look like this could be participle, this could be affix. Those are the 3 ways you can be able to look to be able to determine whether it is a participle or it is an affix. Okay? Do we get it up to there? Because those are some of the indicators and some of the ways you can be able to help yourself. Because sometimes like with some of our sentences, the ones that we do for our translation, you may not really have the full context. So it may be difficult for you to be able to identify whether this is an affix or it is a participle. Okay, do we have a question for that? Does anybody have a question? Okay, so I think we are, with that, I think we are done. Okay. So does there any other question concerning what we've done today? We've talked about the hollow verbs, in the affix form, in the prefix form, in the participle imperative, in the infinitive forms. Is there any question with those ones?
Professor, the only difference of participle and the call-affix forms is in the 3MS.
What? In the call affix?
Yes, and the participle. It's only in the 3MS form.
Sorry, I'm not understanding the question you're asking.
Yeah, you mentioned this participle is identical to the call-affix.
Yes.
And the only similarities is in the 3MS form, in the MSG.
Yeah. In the MS, yeah, because in the 3MS. Because if you look at the 3MX here, it just looks like the participle form.
Okay.
It looks like the participle form. They're very similar. You can, I mean, the vowel pointing, everything is just the same. So you can easily confuse them.
Okay, so if this happen, we will look at the participle indicator. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, you look at the I mean, you look at the context. When you have that, as I said, you look at the context. You look at if there's other participles within the same sentence, so that would be an indicator that that probably is a participle. Or if it is connected to an IPP, or it is connected to attached to, if there's an IPP, or if it is attached to hine, or if it has a definite article, because it's only participles that take definite articles when it comes to the verbal forms. Okay. Any question, or we okay? Okay. So we may be able to leave a little earlier today. So our assignment for today is page 149, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. You find it on Moodle also. You'll find it on Moodle, and I wanted to make something clear also. For number 3, or for their number 3 and number 10 of the assignments, there's some vocabulary that you do not have, but it is indicated in the book. So if you do not have the textbook, please ask somebody to send you a picture of it or something, so that you can be able to know what the verb is, because we don't have that on the PowerPoint. If you use the PowerPoint for your assignment, you may not be able to know what the meanings for the vocabulary. They're indicated in the textbook. Okay, they're indicated in the textbook. So please, if you don't have a textbook, ask somebody to send you the picture so that you can be able to do the assignment correctly. Okay.
Professor?
Yes?
Did you read my message to you before the class? It's a secret. Don't tell anyone.
Okay. Where did you send it?
Messenger.
Okay, I will look at it and then get back to you.
It's too embarrassing. I'm so ashamed of myself. Don't tell anyone.
Okay. All right. Is there any other question? Or anything else or anything you need to talk about?
No.
The vocabulary quiz will be
Oh, yes.
tomorrow.
Yes, the
Tomorrow?
vocabulary quiz, thank you for reminding me. The vocabulary quiz will be tomorrow after the class. We will open it up after the class and it is due on Tuesday.
Yeah! I'm so happy.
Tuesday morning, yeah.
You make me so happy.
So mercy is
Thank
prevailing.
you.
Mercy is prevailing. So you have time to study it and then just study up to, how many were they? 240 up to this week is 240. Just study that and it is a written, so we'll not do the oral one this time. We'll do it later.
Professor, can I say something?
Yes.
Perhaps it's better if you can give 3 tries and take highest grade.
Sorry?
And perhaps it's better for you to, if you can give like a 3 trials, 3 chances and take the highest grade.
For what?
Yeah, why
For
can't we do that for everything?
For the oral?
I mean the vocabulary quiz.
For the vocabulary.
You give 3, yeah, you give 3 trials and take the
3
highest
chances.
grade. Yeah.
For
3
For
chances.
everything,
Yeah.
including translation, including final exams.
Yeah. That would
I'm
be
trying to
the
get
best.
what I'm trying to understand what Amos is saying. You want us to do it 3 times?
Everything.
And then we take the highest grade?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we don't have, I don't know that we can do that because of the time. But let's see, let me think about it.
I'm willing to stay overnight.
And then let me think about it. Maybe grace will abound.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Amos. Thank you,
so
Amos, bro. You're a
maybe,
bro.
in the meantime, maybe you can be in prayer. Can be in prayer about it. Maybe God will touch our heart. We can be able to do it that way. But anyway, let's see, actually, that's something to think about. On a serious note, we'll think about that and see if that can work. Yeah.
After all, Professor,
did you find
this
it?
morning.
Just a minute, Ethel, did you find it? I just wanted to know about the oral quiz. Did you find it? Do you find it easier to do it twice like that, or do you find it easier we just do it once and then you just whatever grade you get because of the pressure that comes with it?
No comment.
How do you want to do it?
No oral quiz is the best.
None.
Yeah, no oral quizzes. No oral quizzes. I don't like them. Sorry.